For this study, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Dani California, the verse should sound something like this. So some nice, bright, open sounding chords with clear guitar. We're first going to take you through the Bassy Chords. So we're going to focus onto our fretting hand. I'm sure most of you will know A minor. First finger on the second string, fingers 2 and 3 on strings 4 and 3 respectively. So string 2, 4 and 3, that's your A minor. G, first finger second from the top, middle finger to the top, and then G. You can use fingers 3 and 4, or simply just finger 3 as well. I don't really mind which one you favor for the G. I like using both. And the third chord is D minor, finger 1, fret 1, string 1, finger 2 and 3 on frets 2 and 3 respectively, but strings 3 and 2, which can get confusing. There's your D minor. Now, your strumming of each of these chords are quite important, so we're quickly going to redirect our attention to your strumming hand. And even though you can't see it now, I am actually playing an A minor chord. But the opening strumming, I'm playing strings 5 and 4 at the same time to get a nice deep sound. And after that, I strum the full chord to get a nice bright sounding A minor. Slow motion. And that very quick upstroke at the end is a split second before the next bar. It's basically on the offbeat, the and after the 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, for example, if you're good with the counting. So one more time with me, 2 and 3 and 4 and then you change to G. Now I'm changing at the top end of the fretting hand, like I said, we can't see that. And we're going to start by strumming strings 6 and 5 now. And you'll notice we're going for 2 strings for the bass note, not 1. The 2 strings just give a more fuller sound. Listen to this with 1 note. And listen to this versus this. It just sounds more fuller. So 2 bass notes for each one. On the G, like we said, 6 and 5. And don't forget the upstroke. Now, if we put the A minor and G together in succession, we're going to have this 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you can see and hear that very quick change as you come up on the A and down on the G. You can hear the A minor and there's the G. After that, D minor, the bass notes for D minor are going to be strings 4 and 3 and the same down, up as we did before, and that will take us back to A minor and you're back to where you started off. So I'm going to take it through once, slow motion now. A minor, G, D minor, A minor. And I like putting an extra little double there on the A minor because it sort of closes off that first line. So A minor, G, D minor, A minor. And then you're going to looping it, or you're repeating the progression. So it's nice to put a bit of a sort of an extra full at the end of the progression to say, we're here, we finished that off, we're going to restart now. So I'm going to count to 4 and you can play through with me. And I'm going to try and play A minor, G, D minor, A minor, and then A minor again. But I'm going to go through it 4 times so you can play along with me. It's a nice exercise. Let's jam. 1, 2, 3, 4 and. And that's basically one verse and verse 2, or verse 1 and verse 2. So there's a lot of A minors, G's, D minors, A minors. Now the first real change comes into the chorus where he sings California, rest in peace. But for that, we need to show you the power chords. And let's see what the fretting hand's going to do. And for the power chords for the chorus, we actually want distortion. That's an overdrive you're listening to, or distortion, and this is your clear sound. Just to give you idea of the difference between overdrive and distortion, which are very similar. Your purists will tell you that there's a big difference, and yes, there is. But a good overdrive and a good distortion come within a certain reason, sort of almost of a crossover point there. Anyway, we want noise for that. Now some nice rock sound, or you can do clean, it's quite cool as well. But onto the power chords. On the PDF, it shows F, C, D minor, G. So you could do this. But it just doesn't sound right. So we converted it to power chords. I took this particular chord progression off from Ultimate Guitar, which is a really cool site to visit. So if you're doing an unplugged and you want to do chords, that's cool, but I would prefer us to do your power chords. First of all, your shapes. F becomes F5. 5 means power chord. That's F5, fret 1, fret 5, string 6, string 5. And you can use fingers 1 and 3 or fingers 1 and 4. I like 1 and 4. Lots of guitarists like 1 and 3 too. And you're only strumming the bass note and the string underneath it. And from there, your change across to C5, down the string, you can see the movement's very, very tiny, and C5 is at fret number 3. So the hand doesn't really change shape, it changes position. So I'm doing the same thing from a different place. For the D minor becomes D5, that's at fret 5. And what I also want us to learn over here is that if you've got any song that you want to convert normal chords like normal D minors and C's to power chords, it's quite simple. You just make it D minor into a D or D5. If you want to make F into a power chord, it's F5. So it becomes that shape I'm playing now. So F5, C5, D5 replacing the D minor, and then you come to G5, which is back to the 6th string again. Now watch the changes over here as I go through it. And I like keeping my fingers 2 and 3 really close because I can actually use this for damping those strings to create this little rest in between. So I don't do that. I keep my fingers really flat and just trying to get a bit of an angle there so you can see it. And the thumb's quite low. And there's your chords. One more time with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, and... It's as simple as that. And if you've got an overdrive or a distortion pedal, it could sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and... And that's your power chords. Now after that, which is really cool, is a nice little melodic solo, which I'm going to show you to do now. So we have to focus now quite high up the guitar neck. Now this can get quite noisy if you make a mistake. You're playing fret 11 on the 2nd string and 8 on the 1st string. So it's... And you bend the 3rd finger to make the 2nd string sound like the 1st string. You can hear it there. And you can hear they become 1. So it's... I think I'm coming a little bit closer there so you can see the technique one more time. Starting at 8 and 11. I'm plucking both strings 1 and 2 at the same time. I'm using my middle finger for support. And watch the bend. First finger doesn't bend, and listen how the 2 notes blend into 1. There's 1 note. Then you go back 1 fret, do exactly the same. Go to fret number 10. That should be 10 and 13. And then you go to 12 and 15. The second time. And the last one ends up really high by fret number 17 and 20. So you're really getting to the top end of your neck. And notice I swapped fingers because I found that my 3rd finger up here is a bit squeezed. Okay, I was lucky there. Sometimes I don't always get the bend with it so high up. So you may use fingers 1 and 3, but I would go for 1 and 2 for the last one that's high up like that. That's your little solo. From there, back to a verse. The 3rd part of the song, a bridge, works best with bar chords because you need those bass notes. And the nature of these bar chords are really quite cool because they're very close. There's B minor, fret number 2 with the 1st finger, middle fingers on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and pinky and ring going to the middle 2 strings, fret 4. Now check the transition from this B minor to the G. It goes up a string, forward a fret, that's your new G. And when you go to F sharp, it simply slides back. And when you loop it back to B minor, count to 4, half a bar, and repeat. The important part is your bass note. So for the B minor, it's going to be like this. And B minor from the 5th string. Nice double strum, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And when you go to the G, make sure you shift from the 5th on the B to the 6th string for the G. Only one beat there and down to the F sharp. So if you were to count it, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's pretty much all you need for the basics of Dani California by Red Hot Chili Peppers. I hope you enjoy it. You've got the tab, you've got my WhatsApp details. If you've got any questions, please feel free to contact me. Otherwise, have a cool day. Thank you.